Welcome to another Friday video, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing some maintenance on my US native Nano Paludarium, and I'm going to bring you along to see exactly what goes into its care. Before I get started with the tank though, let's go ahead and get some oak leaves prepped and boiling in a pot. We'll put these to use later. So starting off, first thing I usually do is empty the water which has been collecting in the drainage layer of the land portion. I use just the standard airline tubing to siphon out the water by sticking it into the PVC pipes I installed earlier this year for exactly that purpose. From what I can tell, the foam wicks water into the land portion, so I end up doing this part of the process every couple of days in between water changes. However, I don't really mind, since it helps keep the plants well watered, and I really enjoy spending the extra few minutes with this tank during the week. And due to this cycle of mini water changes, this tank really only gets a big water change at this point every 4 to 5 weeks, or when I disturb the substrate. Once both land sections are siphoned out, it's time to move on to the water section of the tank. I start off by reducing the amount of duckweed at the water surface. I easily end up removing at least 2 to 3 tablespoons of it every week, but I still can't help but love this plant. After that, it's time to go ahead and trim up and propagate some of the plants in the water. I tend not to do this very often, just so that the tank preserves its more wild appearance, as opposed to going for a more manicured look. I tend to let the baby tiers, especially, grow a little bit longer than I would in, say, a more aquascaped tank. I also take this time to uproot and replant any of the dwarf Sagittaria that has grown up against the glass, just to keep the view into the tank clear. And of course, speaking of the front glass, can't forget to scrub any algae that's been accumulating on that. Once that's all done, it's time for a water change. I siphon water from behind the filter foam in the filtration section of the tank in order to pull up any debris that might accumulate near the pump. Since the foam filter padding I use for this tank is coarse, it mainly only serves 2 purposes: keeping any of the fish from getting into the pump, and as a home for some beneficial bacteria. Since the filter padding is so coarse, it rarely needs to be cleaned. I think in the time since I've set up this tank, I've only really touched it once. And finally, after emptying out and filling up the tank again, it's time to add in that fresh layer of leaf litter that I had prepared earlier. Now all that's left is to sit back and enjoy the view. Well, that's going to do it for this look at maintenance in my US native Nano Paludarium. As always, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Friday video.